Jim, you have spent your life working in finance and built a large social media following while doing so, but regulators are now clamping down. Who do you think should be responsible for social media regulation? Governments, social media companies, or the users themselves?
Probably all three. I think a lot of it is going to come down to self-regulation and self-defense, meaning if you are a social media platform, you're Twitter, Facebook, or there are many, Instagram, there are many others, big ones in China, Alibaba, and others as well. You've got to modulate a little bit. If you don't, the government will come in and regulate you. Now, the interesting thing about it is a global phenomenon, but we're talking about national regulation. So Australia may do one thing, the United States may do something else, the European Union may do something else, and yet these companies are truly global. They're not even, geographically based. They're in cyberspace, and there are other ways to access them. I know it's kind of funny for me when I go to China. There is no Twitter. They have the great firewall, and you can't use it. So the problem with most of the social media companies, I'll just be very brief, is that if you're a publisher, at least under our First Amendment, but I think Australia is similar, you can say whatever you want. You have freedom of speech, but you can also be held liable. If you defame somebody or you print an untruth, you can be sued for that. So you can say whatever you want, but you're responsible for the content. If you're what's called a common carrier, and that would be the phone company, you can say whatever you want, but the phone company is not responsible. If two people cook up a murder plot on the phone company is not a party to the murder. They're just saying, we just send the message, we're not in charge. So you can be one or the other. Say what you want, be held liable, or not control the content and be exempt. The social media companies are trying to have it both ways. They're trying to say, we can regulate content, we can squash you, we can deplatform you, but you can't sue us. That's not viable. That's going to change. So if you want to modulate content, take responsibility. If you want to let everything go, then do that. But you can't be blocking people and deplatforming people. They're trying to have it both ways. That's not going to last. That's something that is going to change.
Now, while on blocking people, former President Donald Trump's social media ban from companies like Facebook and Twitter was nothing that we'd ever seen before for a leader, and he now has revealed plans to launch his own social media platform, Truth Social. What do you think about this censorship?
Banning Donald Trump after he had lost the election, which is what they did. I think it was around January 5th or January 6th. They used that. There was a riot on Capitol Hill. That's not a good turn of events, but that was sort of the excuse for doing it. I thought it was cowardly because at that point, you already knew that Trump had lost. Biden was going to be sworn in as president. The Democrats had control of Congress. And so to ban Trump at that point, when he really didn't have any power to fight back, I think basically is cowardly. We'll see what happens in 2 years. The highly likely the Republicans will retake the Congress. A little early to say what's going to happen in the 2024 elections, but there'll be a lot of pushback over that. And you're right; it is unprecedented, but very hard to justify. Like if you don't like Trump, fine, don't vote for him. That's okay. That's what democracy is all about. But if you're running a supposedly open social media platform, but you very selectively squash conservative voices or voices you don't like. Meanwhile, they don't deplatform the Taliban. Taliban's out there decapitating women, and they're not deplatformed. The Iranians are developing nuclear weapons. They're not deplatformed. And isn't that somehow, I mean, Donald Trump sitting in Mar-a-Lago sipping Diet Cokes right now doesn't seem like much of a threat to me. So I think there will be some payback for that kind of blatant political bias.
Now, is this just the start of disrupting the major tech players, or Jim, is this monopoly well established?
I think others are working on platforms that do have more viability. Getter is an alternative to Twitter. Rumble is an alternative to YouTube. Substack is letting people publish pretty much whatever they want, whereas Facebook does not. So it takes time. It takes a lot of money. You have to set up your server farm in your cloud away from Amazon Web Services, because Amazon Web Services will shut you down, as they did with Parler about 6 months ago or 7 months ago. So you have to kind of be invulnerable to the left-wing big tech bias, and not only in terms of content, but in terms of the physical setup, the servers, the cloud, the communications links, the encryption, all that stuff takes a lot of money. So I think Trump talks a good game. I don't think he'll turn it into much. But having said that, there are alternative platforms emerging and they're getting some traction. I think we'll see more of that.